Tonya had just relocated from Port Harcourt to Abuja with her family. Her father, Pastor James, had been transferred to head a new branch of their church, and her mother, Mama Tonya, was happy but worried about how her children would adjust to a new environment. Tonya was 16, in SS2, and the first daughter. She wasn't too excited about leaving her old friends behind in Port Harcourt, but she tried to keep a brave face. Her younger brother, Junior, was excited because he liked change and was already talking about how Abuja schools would be finer than their old one. On her first day in her new school, Tonya felt strange. The compound was bigger, the students dressed sharp, and many of them had this confident swagger she wasn't used to. When she entered her new class, all eyes turned to her. The form teacher introduced her. "Class, we have a new student. Her name is Tonya James. Please make her feel welcome." Some students smiled politely, while others just hissed and minded their business. Tonya quietly sat down, trying not to draw too much attention to herself. That was when she noticed 3 girls sitting at the back of the class. They were beautiful, bold, and stylish. Their names were Daisy, Michelle, and Ruby. Everyone seemed to respect them, or rather, fear them. They wore makeup, carried flashy phones, and whispered loudly while laughing at people. Even the boys in class tried to get their attention. Tonya admired them immediately. She thought to herself, "Wow, these girls are so confident. Everybody knows them. I wish I could be like that." But Tonya wasn't alone. During break time, a gentle, calm-looking girl walked up to her. "Hi, I'm Tabitha. You're new, right?" Tonya smiled. "Yes, Tonya." From that day, Tabitha became her closest friend. She was studious, God-fearing, and always encouraged Tonya to focus on her academics. Tonya liked her, but deep down she couldn't stop admiring Daisy and her friends. One afternoon after school, Tabitha noticed Tonya staring at Daisy and her group as they laughed with some boys. Tabitha shook her head. "Tonya, don't envy them. They look fine outside, but there's nothing good about that life. Just stay focused. You'll see, you'll do well." Tonya nodded, but inside she wasn't convinced. She wanted attention. She wanted to be admired too. Her opportunity came a few weeks later. It was a Friday afternoon. School had just closed, and Daisy walked up to Tonya with Michelle and Ruby following behind. "You're Tonya, right?" Daisy asked, her voice carrying authority. "Yes," Tonya replied shyly. "We've been watching you. You're fine, and you have potential. We want you to roll with us. Are you in?" Daisy asked, raising one eyebrow. Tonya's heart skipped. "The big girls want me." She hesitated, thinking of Tabitha's warnings. But then she thought of how respected Daisy and her friends were. She smiled and said, "Yes, I'm in." From that moment, Tonya's life began to change. From the following Monday, Tonya began to walk with Daisy, Michelle, and Ruby. Students stared at her in surprise. Nobody could believe the quiet new girl had suddenly become part of the big girls. During break, Daisy gave her a packet of chewing gum. "Rule number 1, Daisy said. No dulling. If you're with us, you don't mingle with church girls like Tabitha. She's boring. You're either with us or with her." Tonya forced a smile, though her chest tightened. She remembered Tabitha's kind eyes and all her encouragement. But she also loved the way people now looked at her. That same day, when Tabitha tried to sit beside her, Michelle quickly said, "Excuse me, this seat is taken." Tonya didn't defend her friend. She just lowered her eyes. From then on, she stopped talking to Tabitha. The next week, Daisy brought powder and lip gloss to class. "Tonya, try this. You'll look hot," she said, handing her the makeup. Tonya hesitated. She had never worn makeup to school before. She thought of her parents, especially her father, Pastor James. But Daisy pressed on. "Don't dull. If you want to belong, you must level up." Slowly, Tonya applied the powder and lip gloss. When she looked in the mirror, her heart skipped. She looked different, older, prettier. She smiled shyly. "See, babe." Ruby shouted. "You fit. Oh. From today, you're officially one of us." From then, Makeup became part of Tonya's life. She started coming late to class because she was busy fixing her face in the mirror. Teachers complained, but she didn't care. Boys started noticing her, and she loved the attention. One Friday evening, Daisy told her, "There's a club in town. Bethel and his guys will be there. You're coming with us." Tonya froze. She had never gone to a club in her life. But Daisy and Michelle laughed at her fear. "Don't be a baby. You'll enjoy yourself." That night, she sneaked out of her house. She told her mother she was attending a classmate's birthday party. In truth, Daisy had arranged for a taxi to pick them up. When they entered the club, Tonya's eyes widened. Loud music, flashing lights, boys holding drinks, and girls dancing carelessly. Daisy and the others immediately blended in, but Tonya stood awkwardly. That was when she met Bethel. Bethel was tall, handsome, and confident. He approached her with a smile. "Hi, pretty. I haven't seen you here before." Tonya blushed. "It's my first time." From that night, Bethel became her boyfriend. He bought her snacks, gave her money, and told her she was beautiful. Tonya felt like she had everything she ever wanted. Weeks turned into months. Tonya's grades began to drop. Teachers who once praised her for being quiet and respectful started complaining. "Miss Tonya, you used to be focused. What happened?" her mathematics teacher asked one day. But Tonya only rolled her eyes. After all, Daisy, Michelle, and Ruby never cared about schoolwork, and they still looked happy. Her parents noticed the change too. Pastor James once confronted her. "Tonya, is everything all right? Your teachers are complaining. You're looking distracted. Remember you're a pastor's daughter." "Yes, Daddy, I'm fine," Tonya lied. But deep inside, her conscience was restless. She remembered Tabitha's warnings, but she pushed them aside. Her Sundays were no longer the same. During church services, she no longer felt the fire she once had. Even when the choir sang her favorite songs, she just scrolled on her phone, chatting with Bethel. One afternoon after school, Tabitha managed to stop her at the gate. "Tonya, please listen to me. This path you're following is dangerous. These girls, Daisy and the rest, they're not good for you. Please remember who you are. Remember God." But Tonya snapped. "Tabitha, leave me alone. Not everybody wants to be boring like you. I'm enjoying my life, so mind your business." That day, Tabitha walked away with tears in her eyes. As the weeks rolled on, Tonya's relationship with Bethel grew deeper. He was older, in the university, and he started pressuring her into things she knew were wrong. At first, she resisted. But Daisy and Michelle laughed at her. "See this small girl. You say you have boyfriend, but you're still forming holy. Abeg, relax and enjoy yourself." Against her better judgment, Tonya gave in. Little did she know that her decision that night would change her life forever. At first, being with Bethel felt like a dream. He was charming, older, and always had money to spend. He bought her shawarma, ice cream, and sometimes even gave her transport money. To Tonya, it felt like love. Every time she walked into school and her classmates saw Bethel waiting for her outside in his car, she felt like a queen. Daisy and Michelle would clap for her. "See our babe. Original big girl," they teased. But what Tonya didn't know was that Bethel was also dating other girls. One Saturday, Bethel invited Tonya to a party at his friend's place. Tonya lied to her parents that she was going for a youth program in church. The party was wild. Alcohol everywhere, music blasting, people dancing and kissing openly. Tonya felt uncomfortable, but Daisy and Ruby encouraged her. "Relax, NA, you're acting like a child." Later that night, Bethel pulled her aside. "Tonya, if you really love me, you'll prove it." At first, she resisted. But Bethel's smooth words, combined with Daisy's earlier teasing, broke her. That night, Tonya crossed a line she never imagined she would. The next morning, guilt swallowed her whole. She couldn't look at herself in the mirror. At church, when her father preached about purity and warned youths to flee from immorality, Tonya felt like everyone could see through her. She bowed her head the entire service. But instead of running back to God, she ran deeper into sin. By second term, Tonya's grades had collapsed completely. From being an average but promising student, she became one of the worst in class. 0 out of 10. Again, her English teacher said one day, "Tonya, what's happening to you?" The whole class laughed. Daisy and Michelle only shrugged and said, "Don't mind them, grades don't feed you. Enjoy life." But deep down, Tonya was scared. She didn't want to disappoint her parents. Still, she couldn't stop the double life she was living. One month, Tonya noticed her body felt different. She was always tired, her uniform started tightening around her waist, and she missed her period twice. Fear gripped her heart. She bought a test kit secretly, and when she saw the result, her legs trembled. Positive. "No, no, no, this can't be happening," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. She confided in Daisy. Instead of being supportive, Daisy only hissed, "You know, Day, careful. Better tell Bethel quickly." Tonya gathered courage and told Bethel. But his response broke her heart. "What do you mean you're pregnant? That's your business, not mine. I don't have time for this nonsense," he snapped. "Bethel, please, you can't leave me like this," Tonya cried. But Bethel blocked her number and stopped picking her calls. News spread like wildfire. Rumors started flying around school. "Did you hear? Pastor's daughter is pregnant." Daisy, Michelle, and Ruby distanced themselves from her. They didn't want to share in her shame. Even teachers began looking at her with pity. Students mocked her. Tabitha, who had been pushed away long ago, just shook her head sadly whenever she saw Tonya. At home, when her parents found out, it was like thunder struck the family. Pastor James broke down in tears. "My own daughter. After all my preaching. Lord, where did I go wrong?" Mama Tonya cried for days. "How will I face the church women? They will mock me." Tonya felt her world collapsing. Eventually, the shame became unbearable. She couldn't go back to school. Her parents withdrew her quietly, and she stayed at home. The day she watched her classmates in uniform walking past their street, tears choked her throat. She thought of Tabitha, still focused, still disciplined. Meanwhile, she was trapped in her room, carrying a pregnancy she never planned for. Her nights were filled with regret. She remembered the first day she met Daisy, the first warning Tabitha gave her, and how she ignored it. "If only I had listened," she whispered into her pillow every night. But it was too late. By the time Tonya was 5 months gone, her former friends, Daisy, Michelle, and Ruby, were already in deeper trouble. It started small. They had always smoked and taken alcohol, but soon they graduated into stronger drugs. At first, they laughed it off, saying it made them high and untouchable. But one Friday evening, everything changed. There was a party in town, and the three of them, Daisy, Michelle, and Ruby, decided to attend. They dragged along some boys, drank heavily, and overdosed on drugs. Around midnight, word spread fast. Daisy had slumped. By the time they rushed her to the hospital, she was gone. The news hit the school like lightning. Daisy, the fearless leader, the girl everyone once admired, dead just like that. Michelle didn't escape either. She ran mad that very night. Witnesses said she tore her clothes, ran into the street, and kept screaming, "They are coming for me. Blood! Blood!" Her parents rushed her to a psychiatric hospital, and later she was transferred to rehab. Ruby disappeared. Some said she ran away with an older man. Others whispered that she was hiding somewhere in Lagos. Till today, nobody heard from her again. When Tonya heard the news, her body shook. She sat in her room, staring into space. "So this is how it ends," she whispered. She remembered the day Daisy invited her to join them, the day Tabitha warned her. Tears streamed down her face. Lord, I should have listened. But now, it was too late. She was carrying a child, her education on hold, her parents disappointed, her dreams shattered. At night, she often dreamt of Daisy's lifeless body, Michelle screaming, and Ruby's disappearance. She would wake up sweating, clutching her stomach. Meanwhile, Tabitha continued excelling. She won awards, became the school's best graduating student, and later gained admission into the university to study law. One Sunday in church, Pastor James invited Tabitha to the altar and celebrated her success as a testimony. The congregation clapped, and her parents beamed with pride. Tonya sat quietly at the back, carrying her baby bump. Her eyes filled with tears. She imagined herself standing at that altar, being celebrated too. But now, her story was different. She whispered. Tabitha listened. I refused. See where it has landed me. When Tonya finally gave birth, it was a baby boy. Her parents helped her take care of him, but her life was never the same. She watched her mates prepare for WAEC and jam, while she stayed home, breastfeeding. Sometimes she looked at her child and smiled weakly. Other times, she wept uncontrollably. She loved her baby, but she hated the life she had thrown away. Years later, Tabitha became a well-known lawyer, representing important clients and even speaking at national events. Newspapers celebrated her brilliance. Meanwhile, Tonya stayed in her parents' house, raising her son alone. Bethel had completely disappeared. Whenever she saw Tabitha on TV, or heard of another milestone she had achieved, her heart broke all over again. If only I had listened, if only I stayed with Tabitha, if only I remembered who I was, maybe my life would have been different. Her regret became her shadow, following her everywhere. Tonya's story became a silent warning in her community. Parents told their children about her. Pastors used her life as an example during youth programs. And whenever Tonya walked past, carrying her child, the younger girls whispered among themselves. She used to be very pretty. She was once Daisy's friend. She should have been in the university by now. But all Tonya could do was lower her head and walk on, tears burning her eyes. The end.